Welcome to Comic Station, issue number 25 for June 19, 2013. I am Paul Nisi from Front Towards Gamer.
And I'm Scott Cates of the Comic Station.
As usual, we would go over a number of new releases that you might have missed or overlooked, a lot of smaller publishers on this issue, as well as a review for a comic that is not out yet, but I wanted to highlight it. The first new release for June 19, 2013 is from a smaller publisher that we've highlighted a number of times before, Dark Horse Comics, and their title is Captain Midnight #0. The art style immediately calls forth a lot of imagery that would have fit in with an older comic, but that's fitting because the aircraft carrier that's first shown and the fighter jet that is flying is investigating some weird signals coming out of the Bermuda Triangle, and of course they think it's a joke, so they go and they investigate. But what flies out of the Bermuda Triangle is a World War II Douglas SBD fighter plane, and with it is a pilot that should have been dead and missing since World War II, and that is, of course, Captain Midnight. A lot of people, the first thing they do, they don't know who he is. They don't recognize the pilot. Kind of does recognize him, being kind of a childhood hero, but a lot of people on the aircraft just kind of capture him. They don't really know what to make of him. They don't trust him, but because they don't really recognize who he is. And a lot of people don't trust who he is and believe him. And a federal agent comes on and starts talking to him. Kind of doesn't really trust him either, but is trying to get some secret intel out of him because he was lost on a quote-unquote regular mission, but it was obviously a secret mission and a lot of mystery, and there was some corrupt cover-up going on. And of course, Captain Midnight is a man out of his element. He's from World War II, but being the genius and everything he is, he can steal a fighter jet, and he can beat up a dozen or so Marines on his way. Like, it's sure. So I actually like it. He is kind of a BA. He takes out a lot. He has a great personality behind him. You can tell he's used to knowing what he's doing. But really the catch of it is the mystery that they build up around it. He was lost, obviously the Bermuda Triangle, but really the mystery is what was the mission, what was stolen, and what happened to everybody around him. Why was it covered up to such an extent that the mystery bad guy kind of got a cover up as well? So it's an interesting story. I think overall I want to see what they do on the overarching storyline. This was enough to make me interested, though, which is a good thing for a #0 to do.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also a nice little bonus mini story at the end. Starts and finishes pretty well, and it just shows Captain Midnight back in his element, and he's doing what he's doing back in World War II.
Well, with everything that Dark Horse does, there's an element of quality to it, which you don't always get from a smaller publisher. Now, they're not that small. I mean, they're not Marvel, DC, but they're certainly not, tiny. The cover is phenomenal. I just love the art.
I do like that.
So that should be enough to, at least get you into it. And where it goes from there, I'm with you. You have to get a couple issues in before you're going to know, but you really can't go wrong at least picking it up and taking a look.
Yeah. The next one, honestly, was kind of more of a... He has a movie coming out soon, and the name, so people might be interested. So I wanted to check it out to let you know before you were interested in checking it out. And this is from World War Z's Max Brooks, The Extinction Parade, from Avatar Press. Max Brooks, World War Z, movie coming out. Might pull some people in I thought would be interesting to read. And interesting is probably the right word for this, because it starts off, you get a narrator. Zombies have always been a joke to these people. They've always been clumsy, stupid, they always flare up a little bit, and the humans beat them back down a little bit. And it just keeps going up and down. zombies have never really been seen as much of a threat. They're just kind of there. They're like a natural plague that every once in a while comes up, but they get past it, it gets beaten down. It's a joke. The reason I'm saying them and humans is because the main characters turn out to be vampires.
Of course.
Of course. What are you going to do with zombies and vampires together? So, they're in Thailand, nice change of scenery. The artwork really does like to show the gore. The artwork is pretty good. Not amazing, but it's good. Like I said, they like to highlight the blood and guts and brains and gore of the zombies whenever possible. And it is interesting to get a viewpoint of what would vampires think of a zombie, beginnings of a zombie apocalypse. How would they approach it? And it's just an interesting, weird idea. I'm not so much of a big... I'm getting a little fatigued on the whole zombies, and then they throw in the vampires as well, and it's an idea that screams mainstream, trying to get people's eyeballs on it, but I don't know how much of an idea it isn't. It's intriguing, but not overly gripping. Not to me, anyways.
Well, I will say this about Avatar. Avatar has made a living doing the horror and gore. I mean, most of their books are nothing but gore. Crossed, ferals, stitched. They're all very, very gory, if you like that kind of stuff. And it's not something that I particularly care for, but far be it from me to, shy anybody away from it. What they do well if you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is maybe another long... I'm with you. Zombies have about played out for me. But, hey, somebody else wants to give it a shot. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be plenty of gore. It is zombies and vampires together. I'm interested to see maybe if the zombies do a somehow crossover to the vampires' genes and they're zombie vampires. But still, just not overly enthralling. Maybe, who knows, maybe down the line it will become amazing. But immediately off the bat, just not really my cup of tea. The next one is from a really small publisher. We haven't actually shown anything from them before, but they've been on my radar a little bit. This is Liberator #1 from Black Mask. They've done Occupy Comics before, and so that's where I know them from. Occupy Comics #2 is out today as well. Yep. But I wanted to highlight this because it is a #1. It is a standalone series that Black Mask is bringing forward. And I'm glad I did, because if you can judge from the cover, vigilantes here, they're saying real heroes don't wear capes, they wear ski masks. So obviously you get the idea that vigilantes. But it starts off with Damon is... He goes along the vigilante justice route. He saves a number of pit bulls from a fighting ring. He saves them all and then burns down the fighting ring. He has a day job, and you see him going through that and kind of bemoaning the day job, but you can tell he really wants to save the animals. And his counterpart is Jeanette, who is more of a activist protester. She's more of the microphone and tying herself to the trees and that kind of protester. And while he respects that, he says one particular line, which is the time spent in jail could have been spent saving the animal. So there's two different sides to how they're approaching it. He is obviously more of the take charge and do it. This does get him into a little bit of trouble, because at one point he is a little riled up, and he mistakes an uncle greeting his nephew on the street as kind of like, mistakes it as almost like a drug deal going down or something shady going on. He makes that mistake, but he immediately redeems himself by saving a pit bull from an abusive master immediately the next page. Convenient. But it's also interesting to note that while he tries to save the dog ends up saving him. So I like that. And I like the idea behind this. I like the artwork in this. It was really well done, and nothing. It was never at any point preachy about the ideas behind it, but it did a good job of getting through what the character is, what their motivations. So.
Well, I'm going to read it. As anybody watching knows, we are a big proponent of the smaller publishers, and this is the way you're going to get good books. Get out, pick up a copy of it at your local store, and you know, I'll make a decision if I like it or not tomorrow when I read it. But this is the only way, folks, that we're going to get anything other than mainstream. You've got to really go out of your way to pick up some of the smaller publisher stuff. It's not all going to be good, but chances are you'll be surprised.
Yeah, and judging from the cover, I'm interested to see. It looks like Jeanette will eventually take the vigilante route, so I'm interested to see how that goes and the action that happens in that. So I thought it was really well done. Like I said, it wasn't preachy, it wasn't, but it got the thought across, and the artwork is really nice. So I think it's a really solid start to this. So I'm interested to see where they go on with this.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
Alright. Up next we have a review for a comic that isn't even out yet, and our recommendation. Our review this week for issue number 25 is Super from Unlikely Heroes Studios, and they were actually at the Philadelphia Comic-Con, and we picked up a first printing of their first issue. They were originally a Kickstarter by Zachary Dolan and Justin Piat, writer and author and artist respectively. Their first issue is actually a 52-page mega issue, basically a large issue, and I really liked it style-wise and art-wise, and the 52 pages did not hurt at all. The artwork is really fluid, it's dynamic, it's colorful. It doesn't have at all that computer-generated feel that some of the smaller independent comics can have. Now, Unlikely Heroes is actually the publisher, but the publishers were also the ones that wrote this, so it puts them in a unique position, and I think it's a strong opening. The artwork itself can fit right along with some of the bigger publishers. The Dark Horse, the Avatar, and some of the other big publishers among the smaller ones. I thought it was really nice. The action scenes, really well choreographed, and the characters really fit into the fight scenes, because it's not just they're fighting, but they're having quips that go back and forth that really show the character pretty well. The fights themselves don't take up overly much of it. They don't rely on the fight scenes too much, while at the same time it helps drive the plot forward. The characters themselves, while they are very honestly parodies, and you can tell that they were modeled after existing larger popular culture characters, you can tell that they were done from the viewpoint of a fan. So, for example, one of them is called The Streak, who is a play off The Flash. But of course, being The Streak, as his name implies, he has an aversion to clothes when he runs real fast. Now, this might be a testament to wondering how Flash can run so fast without his clothes or anything else catching on fire. And I think they address that some way, that it takes off the friction or something, but so they don't even bother with that. He streaks, hence his name. And that's funny. The humor in this book is really well done. And there's little hints, little things like that are humorous to people that know, but also just the characters themselves are well written and humorous, but not slapstick. It's done well done with respect to the characters. And again, with Streak, you can laugh at that, but there are certain scenes that show that he is a good friend. A little hot-headed, but he's a good friend, so you can tell him as a person. And that's probably the best thing I can say about Super, is that all the characters, though they're flawed, and they are not even B-level heroes in this world, they are C-level, D-list heroes. They are inhabitants of Cosmopolis, which is basically the city. It's like a metropolis. It's Gotham, where they advertise that they are the home of the heroes. All the best heroes, all the greatest heroes are there. The people's champions, which are like the Avengers of the universe. They're there. All the heroes that have a name are there. All the heroes that want to make a name go there. And they're on that second category. They want to make a name. They aspire to greater things. And it shows. They're flawed. There's raw. There's anger. There's confusion. But it makes them relatable. And part of that is shown through their daily life. A lot of the book actually isn't fighting. It's walking through, and catching a glimpse of their hero that they aspire to be like, or in the bar and being friends together, and some of the getting looked down on by other heroes, or so forth. So it's really nice. It's well done. It's well written. The humor brings it forward. They are parodies, but they don't rely on the parody for long, and they really build beyond being a parody of the characters into their own characters. The best thing I can say about this is, honestly, I sat down, I wanted to read maybe 10, 20 pages before going to bed, and I was going to pick it up the next morning. I ended up reading the whole thing in one shot, and I enjoyed the whole time. And that's the best thing I can say about it. I really wanted to read more about it. I wanted to get the characters. I think the 52 pages really helped because the pacing was really well done. So I'm really interested to see if their second issue can keep up that pacing with such a strong beginning. Again, this isn't out yet. This is actually coming out in September. But I wanted to highlight this one, get it out there a little bit, let you be aware of it, maybe tell your local store. These are coming up soon in the ordering. Tell your local comic that you want to pick up an issue of this and have them order it, because it won't get on the shelves unless you order it. So I liked it. It was really good, really strong, and I'm looking forward to more. On FrontDoorsGamer.com you can see the whole review. I have a few pictures in there. I have a number of situations, and a little bit more in depth, as long as this is. But so I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's amazing. I really liked it. I thought it was an amazing first issue. So.
And they're very nice guys. I mean, we met them.
They were very nice.
Very nice. We're going to have them here in our store probably after the release of this in September or early October. So we're looking forward to hosting them. Local guys to us, so out of Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah. All right.
Well, here it's time for my recommendation. And I thought long and hard about what book I might want to bring out to you. But with the advent of the new Superman movie being out, I thought it would be just a good little reminder, instead of just recommending one specific book, is to go out and get yourselves a bunch of different books which will help really relate to the movie. Superman Earth 1, Man of Tomorrow, Man from Tomorrow.
Whatever Happened to
Man
of Tomorrow.
I mean, there's a lot of different Superman books, and as you will see as when you watch the movie, it's a good amalgam of all of these different characters. So I think if you haven't seen the movie yet, go out and read a few of these books, because it'll give you a good idea of what Zack Snyder was trying to do with the character. And I mean, they're all good books anyway. You should read them all if you're into this. Mm-hmm. They're all major Superman titles. You don't need to read every Superman title, but the major ones are definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that has been our Comic Station issue number 25 for June 19th, 2013. As always, feel free to leave any comments, anything we missed. What did you think about Superman? Any recommended titles that people should read if you have seen it? Any recommended titles people should read before seeing the issue? Any of these small publishers or issues that maybe we aren't even aware of that you are, let us know. We'll be happy to highlight them and let people know about these smaller publishers and issues. Again, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
See ya.